All right. There are tons of people between you and your readers, and tons of people who can help you find your readers, your friends, different articles. Believe it or not, newsletters and articles are definitely your best friend. Bestseller lists, reviews, reviewers, and bookstores and libraries, which I've already sent you to. I would admit that for myself, 50%, I read 3 or 4 books a week for pleasure. I read another 9 or 10 every week for work. But I'm weird. I've got weird brain chemistry, and so I can read very, very fast. Um, but I would say that when I read for pleasure, I get recommendations from the bookstores or libraries that I subscribe to. One of the bookstores is Amazon. Others, I'm a big fan of bookshop.org. And I subscribe to their newsletters. And they know that I love historical fiction. They know that I love fantasy. They know that I love biographies, especially ancient historical biographies. They know that about me. So I get recommendations. I also hear about books. I'd say the second most fastest way I hear about books is friends of mine. I'm reading a book right now. I'm 90% of the way through, and I'm kind of pissed that I have to hang out with you for the next hour because I'm so close to the end of this book and I want to read it. And I love you guys, but the minute this class is over, I'm going to go find out what's happening to my main character, my love. It's called Grave Situation by Louisa Masters. She's an indie author. I'd never heard of her before. And a friend of mine said, "Oh my God, you have to read this book." So bestseller lists help, but this is where I find my books. And this is where all of these places are where you can find your readers, find your people. So we're going to start by finding out and asking ourselves, who needs a book like yours? Who wants to volunteer and answer that for me? Who needs
Well,
a book like yours?
nobody, but say no,
Yay!
nobody needs it. Yeah, nobody
In
needs it. But
5 years, you are the first person to not fall for that. Oh my gosh. I I have asked that question a dozen times a year for 5 years, so at least 60 times, and you were the first person to answer that right. I will send you a lasagna and chocolate in the mail to Gettysburg. I'm very impressed because usually I lure you guys in and then I'm a total asshat and I say nobody needs a book like yours. But nice job. Thank you, Jerry. But I now will ask you, who reads books like yours? Would anyone like to venture a guess? And Jerry or Jennifer, anyone, Chris, who wants to jump in, it's a small group, just jump in. But when you're answering, I know because most of you have sent me your books, I know what your books are, but tell the rest of the group your genre so that they're not confused.
oh, I'll start. I'm writing historical fiction, uh, and on a real incident. So I'm actually writing it all around the real incident. So except for the parts that aren't true, it's true for the most
Yeah,
part. But it's 1890 Baltimore, post Civil War, and I'll call it a legal procedural historical drama.
nice. And crossover's very hot right now. Very hot.
Well, good.
So I am very excited for you.
Well,
Would
I'm
any
anxious
could
to
we
send
get
you my
one or two
manuscript
more
then.
people?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
do that. Could one or two more people maybe tell us
I
their
write
genre
fantasy.
and
I write
all
fantasy, which,
right.
has no subgenres or anything. There's no, crossovers or whatever. Right now, romantasy is so hot, but I'm really leaning it more into somewhere between more of a traditional swords and sorcery and a near future it could actually happen kind of thing. So
All right. All
the
right. And who reads
I'm
books
here
like
because
yours?
I'm here because I need to I haven't got my pitch on yet on this. I'm still finishing the first draft. It's a fairly broad um audience, but I'm in that place where all of the writers that I thought of for this were basically from things that I read, T. Kingfisher, Alana Andrews, Martha Wells, Naomi Novik, Catherine Arden. That's all I can think of is like Rebecca Yarros, but not with Dragon. You know what I mean? There's so
Well,
many.
Rebecca Yarros does more than dragons.
Well,
She's
she
she's
started out in
so
romance. Yeah, yeah.
yep. Yep,
Yep.
but she also does, and there's RF Kwong. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So, I can either move forward, or would one other person like to volunteer? It's completely up to you guys.
My book's a meditation book, self-help. It's a unique form of meditation that works with the elements and puts them up against the 6 realms of psychological existence that we could be in Buddhist cosmology. We go in and out of these 6 realms throughout our lives. So I think my readers would be those who are interested in meditation, yoga. Since it's got an esoteric component, I would think it would be, since it's based kind of on Shugendo Buddhism, I think it would be interest people who, might have heard. That'd be like a third level. First, it would be probably people who are interested in like self-help, meditation, as yoga, and then maybe a small section when they hear the word Shugendo. Maybe martial artists who have heard that before.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So what I'm doing, I know it looks like I'm not looking at you guys, but as each of the three of you are talking, I'm quickly writing down some authors that I want, because when we get to the next step, so I'm not checking Facebook. I promise I'm listening. I really am.
You're
All right.
reading that book is what you're doing.
I am. I am. Oh my God. It turns out that he
Busted.
might be a god. It's so good. Okay. Anyway, so the big question, one that I'm going to guess most of you may not be able to answer, but we're going to be able to answer before the end of this hour, is who buys books like yours? And how do you find out who's buying books like yours? Are they library readers? Do they borrow books from friends? Are they Kindle Unlimited readers? Or do they actually shell out $18.95 for a paperback, $27.95 for a hardcover? Do they buy ebooks? Are they more do they wait 28 weeks until the library till they get to their turn? We're going to find that out. Because when we're looking for market viability, we are looking for people who are willing to part with cold hard cash for your book the week it releases. Everything else is great, and I'm not saying we don't love them, but we don't love them. They're okay. They're the equivalent of that guy who took you to the senior prom when your crush broke your heart. Where do those who read books like yours hear about them? We're going to answer that. I promise. Would anyone like to? Now, I gave you a whole list before. So we've already kind of covered that, and where do they shop for books? We're going to be able to discover all of that with the glorious joy of the internet. I told you last week that it was important to get out from behind your laptop, that to not underestimate the benefits of going to the bookstore, going to the library, getting out from your desk. But this week, we're pretty much going to stick to our laptop, which is good. It will save the environment and money on gas. So let's start with the most important thing that I hope you remember from the video this week. You are not your readership. Now, I think it was Beth who said, I'm looking for people who, I read all of these people. You are definitely in the Venn diagram. You definitely are a strong overlap, but you are still not your readership. Without throwing out any guesses, your readership are 30, for the most part, they're 31 years old. They are single, in a relationship, but single. They're not married. They don't have kids. They are gainfully employed, college education, perhaps more than one degree. And they are extremely creative in their personal life. They're either crafters or, they crochet, or they're how do I know this? It's because I'm an agent in your genre. I promise you these are your readers. But I want to actually walk us all through how we would find that out if you were not a 60-year-old agent with 35 years experience who spends 10 hours a day just staring at this stuff. So I want to start by telling you a very embarrassing story about my first book that I wrote, published by, it doesn't matter, but I have a couple books out, 2 by Simon & Schuster, 1 by A Small House. And here's who I thought my readers were when I wrote a book about the publishing industry. I thought they were authors, speakers, experts, business owners, nonprofits wanting to learn how to sell and market their books. I was convinced they were PR pros, publicists, publishers, marketers who need advice on how to get sales guidance for their clients. I need you to hold 1 second, guys. Hey, Tim? 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 Marley's begging to come in. Sorry. I have a little Chihuahua pug mix outside who's crying to come in, and my husband didn't hear him. Sorry, guys. I apologize. All right. Who did I think my readers were? I was convinced that they were mainly in the US. They were degreed. They were anywhere from 30 to 70. Most of them, I'm guessing, were 50 to 70. And 7 out of 10 of them were men. They made at least 100K a year, and they primarily bought ebooks and they shopped online. Why did I think this? Because that's who I was. Okay, I wasn't a man, but let's face it, I'm the least feminine person you're going to meet this week. I got male energy coming out everywhere. I owned my own business. I had a couple degrees. I thought I was a consultant. This was me. I thought this is who would want my book. And then I went through the process that I asked you guys to go through this week. And this is who my readers were: novelists, memoirists, children's book authors. I hate children. I hate them. Oh my God, kids' books were all over my profile. Spiritual leaders. There's not a spiritual bone in my body. Sorry, Donna. We'll be friends, but I know. Writing books to share their talent and experience with readers, children's book authors, YA, women's fiction authors. Now, nowadays we call it upmarket, but at the time it was called women's fiction. They lived primarily in the US, Canada, and Australia. A huge chunk of them were in the UK, I found out later. They were mainly 50 to 70, not a lot of 30-year-olds. 8 out of 10 of them were women. And they primarily bought paperbacks and used libraries as well as shopped online. They went to bookstores. They bought paperbacks. They could not be more different from me. I am a strict ebook girl. My mother bought me a copy of Maine by C. Courtney. I loved the book. I read 2 pages, decided I loved it. It was a gorgeous hardcover. She gave it to me for my birthday. I donated the book to my library and I bought the ebook. I cannot stand holding, it's just me. I told you, I've got a weird brain chemistry. I prefer ebooks, but I'm not my market, but I thought I was. I was absolutely convinced. So let's talk about how I got from who I thought my market was to how I found out they really were. And with this, I don't remember if I said this in the video, but it's very important to me that I admit to you that I believe everything I think. If an idea crosses my mind, I am instantly convinced I'm right, because why else would it cross my mind? I'm brilliant. We all share this. None of you, I can't see your faces because I'm looking at the PowerPoint screen right now, but I promise you that at least half of you right now are going, okay, yeah, of course. Well, the problem is, if we believe everything we think, we're not actually practicing any sort of reflective research. We just assume that because we think it, it must be true. I don't do this with my emails. When my emails come in, I very carefully look and go, well, that's BS and no and spam. But if an idea crosses my mind, if I get 5 emails in an hour, only one of them is valid. But if I get 5 ideas in an hour, somehow I think they're all valid. So I'm going to ask us to set aside our belief in our brilliant brains and be somewhat skeptical at the moment. What we're going to do is we're going to start with a list of comparable authors. The 3 of you who mentioned your books and I grabbed my phone, I have a starter list of comparable authors for you already. You probably do too, but we're going to just start with a list. And we're going to ask ourselves, what books are our readers reading? What books are on their bedside tables right now, or on their coffee tables, on their Kindles? You know what I'm saying when I say bedside tables. And what books are they recommending? So I'm going to stop talking now because God knows I monopolize the conversation. And I'm going to ask those of you who are comfortable to unmute and tell me, how do you hear about new books that you want to read? Beth.
Goodreads.
I will confess that Amazon tells me what I might like next. And I also follow the blogs of several authors who have good taste, in my opinion. And if they give a recommendation or one of their readers, I might check that out as well. And Goodreads, but
That's
I was gonna say, I subscribe to Goodreads. That's what I get. Yeah.
I get mine from, I get a lot of catalogs. The Shambhala catalog and yeah.
Yep. Now, Donna, you will not have as much luck with Goodreads as the fiction authors will, which is unfair, but I do have other ideas for you. So we're in good shape. I do not mean to put Jennifer or Chris on the spot, but I am going to just, if I want to leave space for you to talk if you'd like, but I'm also fine with you just saying, Amy, shut up. I don't wanna.
I've gotten in 2025, I've gotten book recommendations from a friend at the gym and from Audible. Does it count reading if I listen to it? Where are you in that?
Absolutely.
But some people, yeah. I listen to a
Some
lot of
people
books.
are idiots.
So
Yeah.
Audible, and I chase narrators. George Weedall is my favorite narrator, so I'll end up picking up him or another narrator I like. I've not been through all the material yet, and so I'm a little concerned about how to identify. I'm curious to learn the techniques you're going to suggest for how to find authors, or excuse me, readers for my book, because that's a mystery to me. I haven't unlocked yet.
When you watch week 2, it's an hour and 9 minutes. It's incredibly boring, but it walks you through step by step. What
Good.
I'm doing here is hitting the highlights so that we
Right.
can have questions, but I promise it's there.
Good.
Yeah, and audiobooks absolutely count. Jennifer, I know you're going to weigh in a second, partially because I love where you're sitting at the moment, and I'm curious how the weather is down there. But I just want to quickly tell you that in the 60s, 1964, an upstart company called Penguin started putting out books that instead of having wooden covers with, cloth wrapped around them, they started putting out these flexible books with heavy cardboard covers instead, and they called them paperbacks. And the industry lost its ever-loving mind. Paperbacks weren't really reading, they weren't real books, they were cheapening the experience, they were going to destroy the industry. And then 2001, a little company called Amazon started putting out ebooks. And the industry lost its mind. That's not reading. I need paper. I need to be able to write on things. And now it's happening with audio. Well, here's the deal. Paperbacks quickly became 70% of our market. Audiobooks right now are 39% of the income that we made in 2024 as an industry all came from audio. Absolutely, these things count. I'm off my soapbox now. Anyone else want to tell me how they hear about new books?
I enjoy going to my local library. They put up little displays and they do it seasonally too, which I enjoy. I like to read, certain books during Halloween and things like that. And then also, I write middle grade. So a lot of times in my critique group, I'll hear about different books that people have read. And if I'm going to read a middle grade, I'll have to find it that way.
Yeah. And for middle grades, also journals, review journals like School Library Journal and the like. A lot of people who are buying middle grade books for their classrooms or their libraries, they're finding them from School Library Journal.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, I loved the stuff you've been sending me, Jennifer. I just want to give you a thumbs up. I think your project has so much potential.
Oh,
I mean, the
thank
rest of you do too, but I remember I said I hate children, so I was absolutely flabbergasted to find out how deeply I got involved in Jennifer's stuff right away.
Oh, thank you.
All right, so we're going to delve into how you hear about new books. This was my list: Goodreads, Google, Reddit, Amazon, BNN.com. But definitely recommended at the gym by a friend. Love it. I subscribe to all sorts of newsletters and catalogs. Donna, yes. Jennifer, some of your thing now. Librarians. I actually wrote when I sent your homework back. I'm like, in your genre, librarians and bookstores, you should be there every week talking to them.
Okay.
But that is how you are going to find the authors. Your starter list of authors. There's a website I love, whatshouldireadnext.com. But what I'd like to do is take some time right now and go to Goodreads, go to worldcott.org, go to some of the places where I look when I'm trying to find a starter list of authors. Before I do, I'm going to shut up and I'm going to ask you guys what questions you have from this week's week 1 homework or what you saw in week 2. I'm open to anything. And Chris, if we, next week, if you're still asking questions about week 1 or 2, that's totally cool. No problem.
I think for me, I just don't know where to start. I tried the Amazon Books bestseller, and it did have a children's category, but it lumped everything like picture books. It even had like board books in there. And I mean, I was pretty high up there before I saw anything that was remotely
Right.
middle grade.
All
So
right.
that was
May I share my screen and now I'm doing this without a net. So I'm warning you right now that what's going to happen is I'm going to I'm sharing my Google my Chrome right now. No judging my tabs. I don't need that kind of negativity right now. Let's see. Let's see. Let me close some of these down.
Which I probably wouldn't have looked at until you said don't judge them, and then I immediately said, "Oh,
yeah, then that was the first thing.
let's look at her tab."
See, I'm so nosy. When someone shares their screen, the first thing I do is look at their tabs. I'm so nosy.
I mean, it's pretty
All right.
natural, right?
It is. It is. So, Jennifer, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to start with 2004 Editor's Choice Best Middle Grade. Give me your subgenre again.
Well, it could either be like fantasy or speculative fiction, I guess.
Fantasy novel. We just start. Yes, that's what I meant. All right. So
Why 04?
Because 2005, they're going to do their big wrap-up lists at the end of 2005. They don't really exist yet. So what I'm Googling for is at the end of 2024, everyone put their, ooh, these are the best,
Right.
it was Editor's Choice.
But
So
there's a
why
typo,
they-
so we've gone back 21 years. Did you mean
Oh,
2024? Chris, I was right there with you.
it's a good thing I'm pretty, because I am not bright. All right, so forget AI. We're going to skip over that. Publishers Weekly, a roundup of 2024's best book list for children's and teens. Let's see. Publishers Weekly, New York Times Best Children's Book. Well, this is a whole bunch of lists that you could go through.
Okay.
And I'm going to drop this because I'm not a horrible person and I appreciate you guys. Let me go to chat. I'm dropping this in the chat just so you can grab
Thank
the list
you.
if you want.
Thank you.
Best middle grade fantasies. Now, Kirkus Reviews. Love Kirkus. Not a big fan of Kirkus Discoveries, but I do love Kirkus. So let me minimize your faces. You're right in my way. Best middle grade fantasies of 2024. Eowulf. Okay. Game of Noctis. Kwame Crashes the Underworld. I'm beginning to see why I avoid children. Island of Whispers. Do you know any of these?
No, and the one thing I wasn't sure of, are these like critical successes? Are these like commercial successes?
We're
Does it
not worrying about that now. We're putting
Okay.
together a list, minimum 12, maximum 200 of authors.
Okay.
Now, this Eowulf is a graphic novel, so we're going to skip that one.
Right.
Game of Nox. Let's take a quick look and see what Game of Nox is. Now, from what I see of your book, this is not an apples to apples comparison as a comp,
Mm-mm.
but we're not trying to do comps right now. We're just finding a list of authors. So I grab her name, excuse me, and I will cut and paste it. This is just how I do things. You don't have to do this. But now I've got a whole bunch of books by Diva Fagan, who wrote I don't know if it's, okay, it doesn't look commercially successful, but it definitely is being lauded by Kirkus as a fantastic YA fantasy novel. Will this knock everyone out of the park? No, but it's a great place to start.
Okay. I understand because
And
that's what I thought, that most of the books I was finding, because I did go to one list, but they weren't books that I had even heard of. And I thought that they were like more like critical successes, or do you know what I mean? Award
which
winning.
is fine.
That's okay.
Fine, we're just looking, all we're trying to do right now, all we're trying to do is find authors that your readers are reading.
Okay.
Next week,
But-
we're worrying
but
about
are we-
critical successes.
Aren't we using a number of reviews as a critical screener on this
Next week, not this week.
next time? Okay, got
Also,
it.
we don't need to worry about, because I was looking for that large
I
number.
was, same here. I was, that's why I was having trouble finding with 3,000 reviews or more.
Okay.
That's next week's problem.
All right.
Because Frances Hardinge, okay, we can go to Amazon, we can go to Goodreads, and I realized, again, I'm doing this without a net in, for instance, 2004 versus 2024. But when you go to Amazon, customers who read this book also read. Now, new from here, Teacher's Pick, this is a very successful book with 554 reviews for a middle grade book. Holy moly. This book is, this is a book you definitely want to check out. Oh, instant #1 New York Times bestseller. And you'll notice, #1 New York Times bestseller, only 500 or so reviews. Because as I've said many times, maybe not to you, not a lot of 9-year-olds read a book and then run to Amazon to write a review.
True. Good point.
So don't worry about that at this point. But you can go to other books, you know, and don't do sponsored. Ignore sponsored.
Okay.
But similar books that deliver or customers also bought or read, and just grab, you know, you can judge a book by its cover. A strange thing happened at Cherry Hall. Came out a year ago. Okay, this is right up your alley, hon. This is exactly the same kind of book that your readers are reading.
Okay.
You can also go to Goodreads.
Oh, where'd it go?
You can search for authors. Okay, this was published in 2012. We don't care. We're not looking at comp titles right now. We're looking at the 634 people who are currently reading this book and the 20,000 people who want to read this book.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're also following Frances while we're here so that you get updates about her newest book.
Okay.
We're taking a look at who wrote absolutely lovely, totally bonkers book, Pure Delight. Let's see who Natalia is. I know I'm not pronouncing it right, I'm sure.
Looks like.
Oh, look at that. Knitting. Remember I told you they were creative. Book omnivore, partial to sci-fi, loves Terry Pratchett. So here is a grown woman, excuse my language, reading middle grade books. That would have surprised me. But you need to take this into account when you're pulling who your readers are together.
There are definitely adults who read middle grade,
I
and
know
women.
that.
Yeah.
What is Natalia currently wanting to read? Let's take a look. Oh, Sword Heart, that's a good one. It takes a while to dig in, but do you see what I'm trying to say when you can go down a rabbit hole? I don't want you making a choice now. I don't want you to say, well, Jasmine Warga, you know, it's not about it. I'm not Asian. I don't care. I don't care. I want a big list of authors, and it's super easy to grab them. You can winnow them down later when we're doing comp titles, but right now, I want you to find a big group of authors, and then I want you to go find out who their readers are by searching them out as who are they let's look at the Amazon reviews, not just Goodreads. Let's go down. Nikki Lyson. Okay, if they don't have a picture, usually their bios are not. So what you want to do is you want to find like the Neon Librarian. Here we go. Oh my gosh, look at all these books they've reviewed, the Neon Librarian. Now, the Neon Librarian doesn't have they don't have a bio up. Unfortunate, but incredibly helpful data.
Okay. That helps a lot. Thank you.
No problem.
I'd like to ask two admittedly cynical questions. We generally assume that 80% of these readers, reviewers are real people who just happen to like reviewing and building profiles. Like I would never go online and put that I enjoy knitting, not because I don't enjoy knitting, but create a profile for myself. I don't review products I buy like shaving cream because that's just not me. Maybe I should
You're
pay it
not-
forward and do that.
No,
So
you're
so
not
maybe
your
there's a whole-
readership.
so maybe there's a whole class of people that do that, and I'm the minority, and I don't, and there's always going to be niches. So that's why I said 80%. But generally, you're pointing us to what we believe is trustworthy data, or as I said, it was a cynical question.
It's not a cynical question, it's a smart question. Let me just ask, do you go by Chris or am I misreading? Is that
You're
Great.
correct. It's Chris.
as opposed to Christopher or Schnookums? I like to call people what they like.
I'm sure it says Chris's iPad on my thing. So.
It does. I was just double checking.
It
You're
says-
not the minority. You're by far the majority. Fewer than 1% of people who buy books review them online.
Really?
1%. So if any of you here review books online on a regular basis, you're the 1%.
I have to
In
say,
a good way, not in the
I
not
have
in the
never,
awful way.
I have never reviewed a book. Yeah.
I
Then you're the
um
99%.
Yeah.
I also write picture books, so I review peers
Mm.
to help them get
But that
Different.
is, yeah, that really is different. That's you trying to be
Yeah.
helpful to friends. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I say I'm an academic. I do peer reviews all the time. I don't consider that the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say that Chris's question is savvy, not cynical.
Yeah. I agree.
But I would also say that I have watched Amazon, who owns Goodreads, by the way, and I've watched Google Books and Barnes and Noble and Books a Million, because it's not just Amazon. There's all sorts of places we can look. I have watched them create a system that instantly takes down reviews that look in any way suspicious. I can't review a book now. If any of you ask me to review your book, even though if my mother, although she's passed away, bless her heart, if anyone that I loved asked me to review a book and I'd want to do it, my review would be taken down within 24 hours. I'm flagged by Amazon
why?
because I'm an industry professional with clients. And they they know enough about me now by my purchasing habits. And keep in mind that everything you post on Facebook, Amazon knows. The bots on Amazon go out to TikTok and to Facebook and to Instagram, and they know who your friends are. If you have downloaded enough books and if you've got a Kindle and you've emailed a file to your own Kindle, they have access to your contact list. They know everything. So I can't review a book by Donna Rossman because Donna's in my inbox now. And Amazon knows that. So yes, as creepy as all that is, it actually gives me a great deal of confidence in the reviews that are written because
Okay.
more than half of them don't pass muster. They get flagged and taken down.
And so they're not the other category I'd worry about is agents, marketers, teams that are just creating false online profiles to write, because a lot of those reviews were 4 and 5 stars. I didn't read a lot of 1 star. This book, avoided. I guess those just don't make enough splash that they don't have reviews. So those are they're negative because they're not there.
Most people who write a review, either it's 4 or 5 stars or it's 1 star.
Yeah.
It's called the J curve, and you know
Okay.
that the reviews are legitimate when the majority of reviews are 4 star. The next group is 5 star because people who love the book are going to go do that. The third number is 1 star reviews because people who hate the book are going to go online and talk about that. And 2 or 3 is very rare. But if you get that J curve that they call
Right.
it, it's legit. Marketers and agents can create new profiles and start writing reviews, but the reviews will not be shown. They will be weighted less, and they will be taken down unless if those profiles are new. You have to have been around for over a year, and you have to have spent over $50 to review on Amazon. Your profile needs to be more than 6 months old, and you have to have spent at least $25 to review on Books a Million.
Okay.
Same with Barnes and Noble. Anyone can create a Goodreads profile, but allow me to share my screen again. Sorry. what did I? Well, I'll just hit screen and you can look at yourself for a second. So let's go back to Goodreads. And is this time consuming? Is this a time consuming process? Yes, it is. But you are literally trying to get a 1 in a million deal. Getting an agent and a publishing deal is like being struck by lightning while holding a winning lottery ticket in your hand. And it does take a lot of work, I'm afraid. I'm so sorry to say that you're actually asking agents to partner with you. You're asking them to start a small business with you. And I invest hundreds of hours and thousands of dollars in my clients before they even go out on sub. So yeah, I need to know that my comps are good and that and I need you to know that these are good. But let's go back to Goodreads and just quickly look at Art of Racing in the Rain. Which is just one of my all-time favorite books. Let's take a look at the ratings. Okay, this does not have the J curve. This does not, that doesn't mean they're not legit, but I'm now instantly suspicious. There should be more 1-star reviews than 2-star reviews. 4 and 5 is fine. They can be interchangeable, but they're so now I'm like, I'm suspicious. So let's search by these reviews by newest first. Posted this today. Okay, interesting. Let's take a look at Sarah Jane. She joined just 6 months ago. She's read she's read and reviewed 215 books in 6 months on Goodreads. You know what? Oh, she's from Sweden. I'm gonna pass on this one. I'm not gonna dig deep into her. There's too many other people I can dig into.
I would have believed that if it was during the winter in Sweden, but that's over the spring and the summer. She's not inside reading.
Now let's take a look at Jason here. Boy, he hated this book. Now he joined 15 years ago. He is snarky and I love this man. I do not know this man, but I want to be his friend. I love the quote. But here we go. Male, lives in Boston. Let's take a look at his. Oh, he's a Goodreads librarian. That is a check. That means that Goodreads has vetted him. Anything he says about a book, you can probably trust. So I would dig deep into this guy. If you did historical fiction or what we call literary upmarket fiction. Here are his favorite genres. All right, so I don't see any oh, there's fantasy. So Beth, for you, click on remember I told you R.F. Kuang? I would dig into this guy. He's one of your readers. Find out what he's reading. Find out where he learns about books. It's all in his bio. The other thing I love about Goodreads is this community tab. I'm just, because I can't see your faces and internet is wonky. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Go to discussions. And we're looking for R.F. Kuang. Catabasis. All right, so there's no discussions about this right now, but we're going to go to community.
It just came out. It's her new one.
Right. I probably should have picked an older book. Here are some groups. Let's say we want to search for middle grade. Middle grade madness. 909 members. My rule of thumb is it has to have 1,000 members, but this is close enough. Last activity, 41 minutes ago. There is a discussion going on right now all about middle groups. There's book recommendations, reader recommends, September reading challenge for 2025. This community function on Goodreads, absolutely gold. Then there's browse, new releases, but I love news and interviews. News and interviews. And then you can search by topic within news and interviews. 8 new books recommended by readers this week. Delving into this for 15 minutes a day for 2 weeks, you will have hundreds of authors that your readers are reading. I kid you not. I'm not exaggerating in the least. I am not kidding at all.
Cool.
Questions, thoughts, volunteers that we can kind of poke around online and see what we can find?
Okay, I'm curious. I'm an in between. I'm a in between. My book is nonfiction in theme, but fiction in its presentation. So it is what we would call a business parable, but it is for young adults. Two high schoolers are freshmen and things aren't going well, so they get assigned a mentor that helps them to go from barely surviving to thriving by coaching them in 7 business type habits that they apply as high schoolers. So the target audience is obviously high schoolers. It's supposed to be a business book that's fun to read. So
You are, let's see, what is his name? John, the energy bus guy. Business parable. What is his name? Hold on. Chris, let me ask you a question. Do you have any personal objections? And if you do, I'm great with that. But do you have any personal objections to ChatGPT or other AI research tools?
I do not have any personal objections.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen. For those of you who have personal objections to AI, just turn away for the next 5 minutes. I promise I'll get back to you in a minute. All right.
Yeah, great tool.
You are a book publisher with a top 10 business book imprint. You are charged with finding the top sellers in the business and leadership parable subgenre. Please provide a list of the best. I don't type in public, guys. Over the last 5 years. Okay, I'm going to do this in stages. This is what I would do if I was in charge, if I was your big sister. Give
Right.
ChatGPT a second. It does
You
take a
said do
minute.
it in, you said do it in stages. So a future stage will be to shift it down to the target age.
That's exactly it. And then if they can't, but then also I need to clarify with my prompt to not make up any titles, because lots of times it makes crap up. So
Right.
I then clarify, and then I say, can you identify for me authors and publishers that would be interested in, and can you list for me any of their titles that would share a readership with? So I would do it in 4 stages. Give me a list. Can you find any that would be for 11 to 14-year-olds, which is that the right age group, or am I getting the age group wrong?
A little young, I would say 13 to 18.
Okay. So 13 to 18-year-olds, perfect. That actually that is crossing 2 genres, because middle grade ends at usually
Adult.
at 12, and young adult starts at 13 or 14, but we're going to call it young adult. But I wouldn't discount the middle grade, because kids read up. And then, so that would be the second. The third one is to sift out, to come up with a list that is only verifiable, and then to give me links. And then the fourth one is to identify and find the authors and the publishers who are most likely to publish or write books like that, even if they don't have a book like that at the moment, and to ask for 20 or 30 author names. John Gordon, that's his name. I knew it was close. Now, I'm guessing you know most of these names?
Not really, no.
Okay. So, well, you know John Gordon, or not. I'm fine if you don't.
I do not.
John Gordon is the first person I thought of. I had a brain fart because I've been working since 7 this morning, but I had a moment, but I immediately knew John Gordon. So he is the first author that I would say your readers are reading. And if you can find the people who love John Gordon, they're going to want to buy books for their kids. And that, so, not a lot of 14-year-olds may buy this book, but a ton of their parents might, or their uncles
Right.
or their grandparents.
Yeah.
So Gene Kim is another well-known name, but let's go to Amazon, shall we? John Gordon is actually quite known for business parable books on leadership. The Energy Bus is one of my favorites. Now, looking at any of these books, if he'd written them for teenagers, I will go back. I gave you my other prompts, but now I'm curious. Can you name any authors or books that would be similar in theme and style to John, sorry guys, typing in public, to John Gordon, but have a young adult readership? Do not create or make up any
Tough.
titles. The list must, not much, have reference links. Say what you will about ChatGPT and the environment and what it's doing to our industry. I get 3 times more work done because of this.
Yep, same here. Yep.
Strong YA fantasy, but grounded in moral growth and finding one's path. A business graphic novel, not strictly YA, more adult, but it's a graphic novel format, narrative style lends itself to. 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens. They're not parable books, but that is clearly your readership.
Right.
And Teen Leadership Revolution. How Ordinary Teens Become Extraordinary. I do not know this book, so now I'm curious, and I'm going to go just to google.com and simply I live in Mexico, so forgive me. Some of these links are going to be in Spanish. Gotta
figure
Oh,
that out
that's-
from as well.
Okay, this book looks bad. Sorry, this looks really bad. Again, forgive the Spanish. That's just that. I apologize. You won't get this. Okay, so Teen Leadership Revolution, definitely a real book, not something you want to follow. This looks awful.
What are you basing that on? You're going so fast, I can't.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let me slow down.
Doesn't need a long answer. Just what are you basing it looks awful on? The 40
Only 40
reviews?
reviews.
Yeah, okay. That's what I
Um,
thought.
The cover
Hit
is
one.
a hot mess, and it's been out for 13 years.
Oh, is that the cover? This
Oh,
dude?
that's
Oh,
the
yeah. Okay,
cover.
I got you. Okay.
Does it cost $346?
No, $346
That's
is
pesos.
that's pesos. It's
Pesos.
roughly $16 in paperback.
Mhm.
Again, forgive my Mexicano, but
No worries.
next time I'll remember to change my Amazon back to America. All right, so but Chris, you've got if I were your big sister, I would say you in particular start at ChatGPT and also and start writing prompts, and you're going to find, as we did, a dozen authors you've never heard of, and that would
Right.
be a great starter list. And then go to Google and go to Forbes.com and go to Bloomsbury, go to HarperCollins.com and start searching for these authors' names and look for other books. Go to Amazon, click on The Energy Bus by John Gordon, and then arrow down to people who bought this book also bought.
Yeah, Robin Sharma is another one that
Yeah, little long in the tooth, but yeah.
that writes these fiction books with nonfiction purpose, but not for my target audience. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And so you may not find any, and most of the time when people can't find authors, or reader, similar readers, I get nervous. But in your particular case, you're one of the few rare situations where I would say, this is kind of cool. You may be writing John, you may be the next John Gordon, but for young adults. You may have the monk who sold his Ferrari for the high school set, And that would be a great hook in your pitch.
Mhm.
Right. The question is, can he write? But that's probably another
Well,
class.
That comes after your proposal. Because when
Oh,
you
I've
send
written
your
it.
proposal in, you're going to send in the first 2 chapters because you've written a nonfiction book.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I
that's the
finished the
answer for
book.
all of you.
So I finished the book. It's just I'll save those questions for another time.
When and I've invited everyone to send me their manuscripts so I can read them and have a better idea of what your chances are, in my humble opinion. But I worked for Adams Media for 7 years as their sales director. I sold business books. I sold parable books. I've sold books for, I might be a good person to bounce it off of. But
What
when I'm
format do
open
you
to
want that? Sorry.
Word document would be awesome so I could make notes.
Okay.
When I am open to queries, I receive between 1,600 and 1,800 queries every month. And I request maybe 40 manuscripts out of almost 2,000 queries that month.
Yeah.
And of those 40 manuscripts, I sign none of them. Now, you multiply that over 3 months, and we're now at 6,000 queries. I'm rounding up for dramatic effect. 120 manuscripts. I may actually enjoy one of those books out of 120 because the pitch is fabulous, but the book didn't grab me. It doesn't mean that the book's not going to get an agent. It means that I don't particularly like dark academia, and I didn't realize that's what it was when I asked for it. Or I hate children and didn't realize it was a book for young adults. I'm making a joke. Actually, your book seems quite interesting to me. And I don't hate kids. I just enjoy the humorous chuckle that I get when I say that. And I hate kids. So is my book good enough is not a question anyone can answer. Is your book a good fit for the agent who asked for the pages? Probably not. Keep going. You'll find someone it
Right.
is.
Cool.
Other questions, thoughts? I promise I'm shutting up now.
For me, with the fantasy book, I mean, there's so many different silos of types and all of that. For right now, I know next week is really more comp week. What would be your advice on parsing out the type of writer, type of reader that I'm putting together for my list? Because there's so many, there's Fae and there's this and there's that, and the types of magic, and there's so many. I want it all on a spreadsheet and I need to figure it out with it. And it's a little overwhelming.
Tell me you were diagnosed without telling me you were diagnosed. Welcome. Yes, you and I will be
Hi.
friends. All right. You and Jerry are going to, Jerry, I'm answering her, but I want you to listen to this because it's important. For both of your genres, voice is important. Is the authors that you that you think share your readership, are they snarky? Are they quick paced? Are they funny? Are they heavy political, like R.F. Kuang? R.F. Kuang is not funny. I would never say that R.F. Kuang is funny, but I would say she's clever and she's political. And so forget your characters, forget your plot. I'm asking you and Jerry, well, actually Jennifer as well, your voice as an author, not your character's voice, not the tone of your book, but your voice as an author. Whom do you share that with? Do you have any idea?
Tom Robbins? No, I'm kidding. That's way too
There you
old.
go.
But the
No,
irreverent part of it.
Stop that. Stop that. We're not at comps yet. Do not choose out any authors. Throw Tom down.
Okay.
Jerry, do you have any idea what
I,
your
I,
author voice is?
Grisham.
And what do you share with Grisham? What tone?
There's a little bit of humor, I think, in what I write. But I've been told that my style is similar by more than
Okay.
one person.
All right. So back to the Batcave. You are a publishing industry expert. You are charged with developing. See, I use talk to text. I can't believe typing in front of you people. A list of authors with a similar voice and tone to John Grisham. Give me 24 authors who are currently publishing. And please, because I always say please to ChatGPT, because when the robots rise up, I want them to remember I was polite. Include Amazon links to their books. This is what I would do, Jerry, if I were in charge. Now, this is going to take a few minutes. I'll send you this list. I won't make, I mean, you guys are welcome to stay on with me, but something went wrong. Oh, okay. Well, the internet may be a little choking right now with all of this, but Jerry, I
Yeah.
will generate this list and send it to you if you'd like.
Okay, great.
Does this feel like cheating? Yes. Is it cheating? No.
No.
It is no different than the first 6 people in your neighborhood who bought a car instead of horse and carriage. What we're in a different age right now. Do not use ChatGPT to write your books. That will make me grumpy. But use the microwave. You do not need, use the pressure cooker. That's ChatGPT is just this version of a pressure cooker or a microwave. Or, you know, my great-grandfather was a judge, but he was also a blacksmith. You know what? He got forced out of, he then just was a judge after a while. There were no more blacksmiths needed. So use it, lean into it. Let's see. Okay, Jerry, I'm going to email this list to you. It's generating it now. It's just taking a minute.
Okay, great.
So, are you guys ready to move on and start watching the video about comps? But do not watch the comp video until you have 12, 13, 15, 20 you're going to need that starter list to because we're funneling. We're first, find where the books that are in your genre are sitting and the agents that want them. Now, find the authors and the readers this week. That's what I want you to do this week. Just focus on the authors and your readers. And then watch the comp. Next week, we're going to talk about comp titles. And then you can do your comp homework. We're narrowing down. Now I just need you to find 3 to 5 books. Do you see how if you try and skip any of these steps, number 3 will make you want to chew my eyebrows off? It took me a long time to get them to grow back after the 90s. So I want you to do not skip ahead to comps. Just do week number 2.
What happened in the 90s?
We all overplucked our eyebrows till they were nice and thin, and then natural eyebrows came back.
Forgive the ignorant question.
That is not a problem. I adore when children ask. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm
I'm pointing to how proud I am that mine have grown back.
They're nice. Yeah, I had to have mine tattooed back on. Yeah,
I didn't grow back.
yeah. See, Chris, it's all and Beth and Jennifer are way younger than I, but the 90s were not kind to any of us.
Hey, but it's bonus material. This wasn't in the syllabus, but I'm happy to learn.
But we had a good time in the 90s. It was fun.
Yes. My reviews on the W, at the end when they said, well, what did you think of the class? Lots of times I hear, we know a lot more about Amy than we thought we would. Yeah, so sorry about that. It's gonna be a lot of TMI in the next 4 weeks. All right. I am here for your emails, here for your questions. You did a great job with Kajabi last week, but if there's any hassles with Kajabi, just email me and say, Amy, here's my homework. Just make sure always when you email me to put the word submissions in the subject line. You can put anything in there you want, but I search every day for submissions because I receive between 400 and 500 emails a day, and I want to make sure that I don't miss you guys. So,
Cool.
all right,
Cool.
I'll see you next week.
Thank
Great
you.
hour.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.